Good morning to all of you. Welcome to the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. As usual, before I go to the editorial analysis, I would like to talk about the enrichment from today's paper and today's editorial. And when it comes to enrichment, let us start with vocabulary. What are you going to learn today from the words point of view? You're going to learn words like alleviate, distress, vulnerable, imposed, combat, privileges, devouring, underprivileged, preserve, shackles. And if you go to the page 8 editorial page, you'll see 4 articles. Before I go to the next aspect, I would like to talk about those 4 articles. The first one, the short editorial on the left, standing with the needy. That's what I'm going to talk about today. The second one, below that, terror unlimited. What happened in Afghanistan, attack on Sikhs, and the main editorial talks about devising a people-centric response to COVID-19. People-centric, that's a good expression. Usually it goes with business. We say customer-centric, and here it is people-centric. And the last article talks about safeguarding, that means protecting the vulnerable among us. Going to the next slide, enrichment from effective English point of view. Today you're going to learn 5 phrasal verbs. What are the 5 phrasal verbs? See through, set off, stand by, set up, stand against. Besides these phrasal verbs which go with effective English, you're going to learn 5 idioms. 1, eager beaver. Beaver is an animal. Water, it lives in water. Learn by heart, bookworm, break the back of something, hit the books. Now let us go to the editorial. How does the editorial start? Standing with the needy. Standing with, that is an idiomatic expression. Stand with. Stand with or standing with the needy. What is the meaning of the word needy? Those who are downtrodden. What is the editorial? Today's editorial. It talks about the package announced by the central government. The editorial says it's a good package. The entire editorial is on the positive note. The tone of the editorial is positive. And it says how it is good. It tries to substantiate. After that, the editorial talks about what has to be done. The editorial says the government next has to focus on the industries and the middle class people. After that, the editorial says there are so many ideas to be borrowed and gives the example of the US. At the fag end of the editorial, it concludes saying that the center has to come up with a new package immediately, within no time. Now, the relief package is a good start, but more might need to be done. There's something more to be done sooner than later. There's an important phrase, sooner than later. Generally, we say sooner or later, but here it is sooner than later. That means what? Immediately. The 1,70,000 crore relief package announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Thursday, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, is a good first step towards alleviating the distress caused to vulnerable sections of the population by the 21-day lockdown imposed to combat the spread of the coronavirus SARS-CoV-2. There are a few words. It's a lengthy sentence, and the editorial, as I said, it's completely positive. The tone of the editorial is positive. This sentence talks about the same thing. The relief package is a good first step towards alleviating. That's an important word. Alleviate means reduce. Reduce the pain, reduce the distress, reduce the suffering, reduce the hardships. And there are so many words, synonyms related to that particular word, you will learn after some time. Alleviating the distress. Distress means pain caused to vulnerable sections. You have got this word many a time. Vulnerable, likely to get exploited, one meaning. Another meaning, weak. Vulnerable sections of the population by the 21-day lockdown imposed, that's an important word. Impose means to force upon, to thrust upon. Generally we say, don't impose your ideas on others. They imposed strict rules. So imposed to combat. What is the purpose behind? Combat means fight. Combat the spread of the coronavirus. What is noteworthy? Here announced by, that is in past tense. What is noteworthy? This is in present tense. what is noteworthy about the package is not the amount but the innovative ways in which the government is seeking to offer relief. Innovative, creative, that's an important word. So how is it creative? The editorial tries to substantiate. It covers various sections of the vulnerable, ranging from farmers and women, gender account holders, to organized sector workers, to the most important of all, healthcare workers, who will now get a sizable insurance cover of 50 lakh. That's a good step, in fact, indeed. The doubling of food grain allocation offered free is a good idea. One more good idea, the editorial says. The doubling of food grain allocation offered free is a good idea that privileges. Privileges, here it has been used as a verb, it is in present tense, but generally we use the word as a noun, privilege, privileges, and adjective form is privileged. But privileges gives a right to the hungry poor over rodents and pests, devouring the stocks in Food Corporation of India godowns. Now, if you take FCI godowns, we have huge stocks, and these stocks are being devoured. That's an important word. Devour means, literally it means to eat quickly, one meaning. Another meaning, to read quickly. But in this context, it means damaging, devouring the stocks in Food Corporation of India godowns. So is the move. This is again a good expression. So is the move. One more good idea or good step. So is the move to provide free cooking gas refills to the underprivileged who are part of the PM Ujjwala scheme. Underprivileged, downtrodden, and weaker sections of the society. That's an important word. That's a power word. When you write an essay related to development in the descriptive paper, do remember to use words like underprivileged, downtrodden, weaker sections of the society. So is the move. That's a very good expression. I'll talk about that later. Grammar part, grammar section. So is the move to provide free cooking gas refills to the underprivileged who are part of the PM Ujjwala scheme. The offer to pay both employer and employee contributions to the Provident Fund for very small business enterprises is welcome. Is welcome, it is in present tense, and will offer, that is in future tense. Will offer relief to those businesses that are being forced to shut down operations, and also to employees earning small salaries for whom the Provident Fund deduction may hurt at this point in time. So this talks about another segment. One is businesses, the other one employees. The salary limit could have been set higher at 25,000 per month. There is no cash outgo for the government anyway because this is just a book entry transaction. This talks about what could have been done. Could have been. So usually we say should have been, but the editorial says could have been. Could have been also talks about a past possibility. Generally we say I could have done this, I could have come in time. So here the salary limit could have been set higher at 25,000 per month. The effort appears to be, that is in present tense. The effort appears to be to keep the funding within the budget. Here the editorial talks about the budget constraints, the budget limits. The effort appears to be to keep the funding within the budget as much as possible and retain control over the deficit. Indian budget, usually we say deficit budget. So it talks about that particular aspect, retain control over the deficit. For instance, the PM Kisan transfer has been already budgeted. Has been already budgeted. This is in present perfect passive voice. And the increase in MGNREGA wages can also be accommodated within the budget. Again, can also be accommodated. Can is a helping verb. Here it is in passive voice. We can accommodate something. Something can be accommodated by us. It is in passive voice. Ditto, same with the Jan account transfer of 500 rupees per month for the next 3 months, which will cost the government 30,450 crore, which will cost, that is in future tense. It is possible to argue here that, it talks about the limitations. It is possible to argue here that the transfer could have been a little more generous, at least 1,000 instead of 500 a month. Could have been, again, helping verb, past possibility. The government may have wanted may have wanted. Remember that pattern. May talks about possibility, chances are more. You have got many a time. The government may have wanted to stay within the budget for now. That is the intention behind. It could also be to preserve firepower. It could also be, it talks about a possibility, chances are less. It could also be, what is the reason behind, to preserve firepower, as there is no saying how long this uncertainty will last. Not last, last. Last, it's an adjective. Last, it is a verb. Exist for a long time. But at some point soon, the government will have to break the fiscal deficit shackles. Will have to break. That's an important expression. There's one helping verb here, have to. Have to means an obligation imposed by an external authority or a situation. Will have to talks about future obligation imposed by an external authority or a situation. In this context, it talks about a situation. The fiscal deficit shackles. There's an important word here, shackles. Shackles means irons or fetters. Usually it goes with hardcore criminals. When you come across a hardcore criminal, you see that criminal chained with irons around his handcuffs and also around his ankles. Then we use the word shackles, fetters, irons. Usually it goes with criminals. Also it needs present tense, the financial bandwidth to support businesses in trouble. These sentences talk about what has to be done in the near future. In fact, ideally, the government ought to have announced, this is again an important pattern. I'm going to talk about this later. Ought to, that is a helping verb. In the past, it would go with formal English, but now in Western countries, it has become outdated, though we still use in our country. Should, ought to, they have the same function. Ought to have announced a relief package for the corporate sector and the middle class along with the �PMGKY. It should now turn its focus towards businesses that are running out of cash and may soon default on even salaries and statutory commitment if relief is not given. This talks about what has to be done immediately. It says the government has to focus on businesses that are running out of cash. No business, obviously, we run out of cash and may soon default on even salaries. They may not be able to pay the salaries to the employees and statutory commitments, legal commitments, if relief is not given. And the editorial says we can borrow ideas. There are enough ideas to borrow from others and gives the example of the US, such as the US, which is in the process of finalizing a 2 trillion package. It has already finalized 2.2 trillion package. Part 2 of the economic relief package should not be delayed beyond the next couple of days. How does the editorial end? It says part 2 of the economic relief package. It considers this package, which was announced yesterday, as part 1, and part 2 of the economic relief package should not be delayed beyond the next couple of days. That's an important sentence. And there's one phrase here, couple of days, immediately, 2 or 3 days. That's all about the editorial. Now, what can you learn from this editorial? What are the lexical terms? What goes with effective vocabulary? There are 10 words. Alleviating, what does it mean? Reducing. Reduce. Usually reduce what? You should ask the question. Reduce pain, reduce distress, reduce sufferings, reduce hardships. Distress means what? Pain. Vulnerable, weak, likely to get exploited. Imposed. Vulnerable, we also say endangered, threatened. Imposed, forced, thrust upon. That's an important word. Combat, fight. Privileges, benefits, or exclusive rights. Devouring, eat hungrily, but in this context it means damaging. The stocks in the Food Corporation of India go down. Underprivileged, needy, downtrodden people. Preserve, safeguard. Shackles, fetters, irons, chains. What is the word of the day? Alleviate. And what is the word profile? Alleviate, it's a verb. What is the meaning? Make what? Suffering or problem less severe. What are the word forms? Because it is a verb, you have to think of all the 5 forms. To alleviate, the basic form or infinitive. Alleviate, the present form. Alleviated, past. alleviated, past participle, alleviating, present participle. What are the word combinations or collocations? Alleviate someone's pain, alleviate distress, alleviate hardships, alleviate problems. You could think of all these combinations. And what are the synonyms? SUH, that's an important word. Competitive exams, you come across this quite often. Allay, this is also an important word. Mitigate, an important word. Abate, unabated, abate, an important word. Soothe, soothe actually means comfort, not reduce, but soothing, soothing words, soothing gesture means what? Providing comfort. But words like SUH, allay, mitigate, abate, very important from the exam point of view. Now, grammar point of view, there's so many expressions which are very important. What to recollect? Package, that is announced by, or that was announced by. Package announced by. This is in past tense. But actual sentence, actual clause, the package that was announced by. That was, it is understood. We don't mention, we don't write. Package that was announced by the finance minister. Do remember, it is not grammatically, don't think it is grammatically wrong. It is grammatically correct, but it is understood. What is noteworthy? That is in present tense. That privileges the poor. Generally, the word privilege, it is used as a noun, but in the editorial, it has been used as a verb. That privileges, something privileges the poor. The poor get the exclusive right. Privilege means benefit, one meaning. Another meaning, exclusive right. Pests devouring the stocks. Usually in the editorial, you must have seen two words, rodents and pests. Rodents, rats, bandicoots, they come under rodents. You all know the word rat, bandicoot. A bigger rat, we use the word bandicoot. And pests, you all know the word pests. Pest means what? Something that is unwanted, that spoils, that affects the existence of something else, usually a plant or an animal. Animal pests, plant pests. Devouring, the word devour is an important word. Usually it goes with eating, devour quickly. Devour the food means eat quickly. When you read a book quickly, devour the book means to read quickly, to grab the information. In this context, devouring the stocks in the FCI godowns. So is the move. I said this is an important expression while explaining the editorial. How is this important? Why is this important? I'll make a few expressions, a few sentences. She is a good student. If I say she is a good student, then another student is also good. Someone else may say, so is he. She is a good student, so is he. And one thing is a good move, so is the other move. So here, so is something else. Something is good, so is the other thing. Do remember this pattern, very useful. Fund is welcome, that is in present, and will offer. There are two clauses. One clause is in present tense, which talks about a fact, and the second clause talks about future. A fact, we have to use present tense. Something that goes into future, we have to use future tense. Do remember, in the exam, many a time they have given questions related to two clauses which take different tenses. They skip one of the helping verbs. Fund is welcome and offer. Then it is not correct. Fund is welcome. That's a fact. It is in present. And they don't use the helping verb will. Then it is not grammatically correct. If you can use the same helping verb for both the clauses, you don't have to mention the helping verb in the second clause. But each clause takes a different verb, then we have to mention. And this is very important in my opinion. You may ask, sir, why? In the exam, under stress, it is not easy to spot the error when you come across two clauses which take different helping verbs. So do remember, very important. Have been forced to shut down. This is in present perfect passive voice. Could have been set. This talks about past possibility. Could have been set. I could have completed the work. This is in active voice, past possibility. That work could have been completed by me. This is not in active voice, this is in passive voice. This also talks about past possibility. Could have been set. Here it is in passive voice. Do remember, in the exam, lengthy helping verbs, could have been, could have done, Could have done, rather easy. Could have been done, rather difficult. So be careful, this pattern is very important. Could have been set, could have been done, could have been completed. It is in passive voice. Appears to be, something appears to be, seems to be. This is in present tense. Has been budgeted, again in present perfect passive voice. Can be accommodated. We can accommodate 10 people. 10 people can be accommodated by us. This is also in passive voice. See how often you have been getting passive voice. Which will cost, something will cost, which will cost. This is future tense. May have wanted, may helping verb which talks about possibility, chances are more. Have wanted, they have, may have wanted something. Another pattern, not a regular pattern. They may have wanted, they might have wanted, and might have wanted. This talks about a past possibility which is a guess. In place of might, they have used may. Both mean the same, but generally speaking, may more chances, might less chances. Remember the example I usually give. She might have taken the chain. Might have taken. That talks about a past possibility, which is a guess. Will have to break. This is again very important. Have to talks about obligation imposed by an external authority or a situation. And here it refers to future obligation imposed by an external authority or a situation. So will have to break. Ought to have announced. Should have announced. Both mean the same. What is the function of the lengthy expression that goes with the helping verb should? You should have done the work. You should have posted the letter. You should have submitted the report. In the place of should, you can use ought to. You ought to have submitted the report. What is the meaning of that expression? We use should have plus verb past participle to express an unfulfilled duty or a neglected action. Unfulfilled duty means not completed. Neglected action, that goes with informal English. So very important expression. But do remember, in Western countries, the helping verb ought to, it has become outdated. But in our country, we still use ought to. But now coming to vocabulary part is over, grammar enrichment is over, reading comprehension skill. I am providing the questions. I request you guys, please spend some time, write the answers, cross-check. That will help you in the exam when it comes to the passage. And you can't afford to ignore the passage. Passage 10 marks. If you make this a habit, actually you have to think of the questions on your own, but I'm providing the questions and try to write the answers that will help you in the long run. What is the central idea or the main theme of the editorial? What is the tone of the editorial? What could have been done by the government? It has done already something. What could have been done? Something more. What has to be done in the near future? It has done already something. Still something has to be done. What has to be done in the near future? Couple of days, coming days. Whom does the package help? Remember the helping verb, the question word whom. Whom goes with the object, who goes with the subject. Whom does the package help? The package helps the needy people. The package helps whom? The needy people. So that is very important from the exam point of view. How does the editorial conclude? You have to write one sentence. Initially, you try to write one sentence or one or two sentences. Later, you can go for lengthy answers, but not at this stage. That's all about reading comprehension skill. And this editorial, if you ask the question, is it important? You may get this as a passage, either in prelims or mains, there's a possibility. But they may not ask you to write an essay on this. But generally speaking, because India is a third world country, quite often they ask questions related to economy, questions related to development. When you write an article related to development, economic or social or political, do remember to use expressions like needy people, downtrodden people, underprivileged people, and weaker sections of the society. They will fetch you marks. So that way, the lexical terms are important, but directly you may not get this as a passage in the descriptive paper. They may not give this for group discussion. They may not ask questions at the time of the interview. They may ask, what is the impact of coronavirus on the economy? That is an important question. They may not ask about the package. That way, it is not very important. That's all about the enrichment from the editorial, and now it is time to brush up your basics and work on language proficiency. Have a look at the words as usual, write the part of speech, write the meaning. I will respond based on your answers. Yesterday class was not there because usually if you go to page 8, editorial page, you come across 3 editorials, 2 short editorials, 1 long editorial, main editorial, a lengthy one. Yesterday, for a change, I don't know the exact reason, they came up with or they published only 2 editorials. Usually these editorials, please listen to me all of you, I would like to give the reason why there was no editorial yesterday. Yesterday what they did, instead of 3 editorials, they published only 2 editorials. And one, usually these editorials, 480 to 500 words, never 500, usually 480. And I take about an hour, and nowadays it is going beyond an hour. And yesterday the one editorial, 1,000 words, another perhaps 2,000. So not practically possible to cover the editorial in an hour. So I didn't want to touch, that's why there was no editorial session. But today again they have come up with 3 editorials. On the left, 2 short editorials and the main editorial. Because of that, today you have got the session. I hope it is clear. And one more request, guys, do remember, because these are live sessions on YouTube, we cannot inform you guys, we cannot intimate. But you all know that I'm very punctual. The class is at 8, I start at 8. The session is at 8, I start at 8. And do wait for 10 minutes, not more than 10 minutes. If 10 minutes I don't start the session, you understand there's some strong reason. The reason can be justified. There could be a technical problem, a technical glitch, some other problem. And for no reason, I don't skip the session. There should be a strong reason. And after 10 minutes, please don't wait. Your time is precious, and don't wait for more than 10 minutes. 10 minutes on the higher side. You all know that. I hope you got the message. Please respond by saying yes or no. I want you guys to respond. One thing I talked about why there was no editorial yesterday, no short editorial. Second, don't wait for more than 10 minutes any day. I'm very punctual, you all know that. 5 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. And strong reason, then you don't have the editorial. Otherwise, you're going to have the editorial every day at 8 o'clock sharp. Thank you. Thanks for your response. Now, alleviate, part of speech verb. What is the meaning of that? A lot of students have already responded. I would like to thank you guys for your response. That's right. Alleviate means what? Reduce. Where is the word reduce? Reducing. Answer is E. Go to the second one. Distress, part of speech, noun. It could be a verb also. Distressed people. Then it becomes a verb, and verb used as an adjective. What is the meaning of distress? Pain. Answer is H. Yes, you guys have been responding. 1, alleviate verb. Answer is second. Noun or verb. Do remember. And answer is what? H. That's right. Go to the next one. Vulnerable. You have got so many times. There are 2 words you have to recollect. One, vulnerable. The other, susceptible. Usually the word susceptible goes with diseases. Vulnerable, likely to get exploited. Weak, not in a strong position. And what is a part of speech? Obviously, adjective. What is the meaning? The third one. D. What is D? Weak. Absolutely right. Shrirama Cutie, what does it mean? I'm not good at these expressions. Online classes, a lot of people, they respond with those expressions, a lot of expressions. I remember one student from Assam, quite often he would respond using a lot of these things. I would ask him, what does it mean? What does it mean? Fourth one, imposed. Obviously, it has to be a verb. Impose, that's an important word. What is the meaning of that? Impose means what? Force, thrust. Answer is G. Verb G. Combat. Combat could be a noun. It could be, usually it is a noun. Rarely we use it as a verb. Combated. Very rare. Fight, fought. That is a verb. And here fight could be a noun. Fight could be a verb. Let us stick to noun. What is the meaning? Combat means what? J. Fight. That's right. Go to the next one. Privileges. Privileges, in this context, in the editorial, it has been used as a verb, but generally speaking, it is a noun. And in today's editorial, it has been used as a verb. Privilege means what? Benefits. What is the answer? Exclusive rights. Benefits or rights. That's right. Go to the next one. Devouring. That's an important word. Devour. Usually it goes with eating. It also goes with reading. Oh, thank you very much. Shirama Cutie. Thank you. Devour. What is the meaning? What is a part of speech? Devour. It's a regular verb. Devoured. It is a verb. And what is the meaning of that? Eating quickly. A is the answer. Underprivileged section. Underprivileged people. Obviously, it has to be adjective. And what is the meaning of underprivileged? 7, adjective A, verb. Devouring. Devour is a verb. Any verb we can use as an adjective. Go to the 9th one or 8th one, underprivileged people. Underprivileged sections of the society. Needy. Where is the word needy? I is the answer. That's right. Go to the 9th one, preserve. Preserve, part of speech. Sidhu, always write the part of speech, then go to the meaning. That habit will help you in the long run. Preserve, part of speech, is a verb. It's a regular verb. Preserve, preserved, preserved. And what is the meaning of that? 9F, what is F? Safeguard, exactly. Protect, safeguard. Shackles, that's an important word, part of speech, noun. Shackled, verb. It could be noun or a verb. But in this context, in the editorial, it has been used as a noun. And what is the meaning of that? Fetters, chains. And usually it goes with hardcore criminals. Hardcore criminals are usually shackled, ironed. Has anyone got all the 10 correct? I should see a lot of students saying, yes, sir, I have got all the 10 correct. Who says, I have got all the 10 correct? Waiting for your response. Prasad says 10, Manasa says 10. Only 2 students. I thought more would respond immediately. No problem. 10, Yadav says 10, Mahesh, I can't read all those names. Now please go to the next exercise, errors. These are not easy. Oh, that's wonderful. More than 20 students. That's really highly appreciable. You're on the track, ready for the exam. Have a look at the errors. These errors are not that easy, mind you, a bit difficult for 2 reasons. 1, not the regular errors. 2nd, lengthy sentences. Who is this Ganesh? No problem. Parts of speech, it will take some time. Sooner or later, you're going to get parts of speech also correct. Take my words for granted. Have a look at the first sentence. A lengthy sentence looks like a short paragraph. Read the sentence meticulously. Only then you can spot the error. The Centre on Thursday announced a 1.7 lakh crore relief package in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and countrywide lockdown, providing free food and cash transfers to support the poorest and more vulnerable citizens during the crisis. No one has responded. Looks like a tough one. Hope you guys can see. How come this long? That means it's a tough question. The poor, nothing wrong with the poor, the poorest. You're very close. The poorest, that is perfect. Nothing wrong with the expression the poorest. If you get this right, you're ready for the exam. You should be happy, and I will be happy. No one has got it right so far. Most, wonderful. Who is this? Ganesh has got it right. Most is the right word. Another person, Pradeep. 2 students have got, and now I see Sai Shri. Here, the poorest. The adjective is in the superlative form. So the definite article, the poorest. The next adjective also should be in the superlative form, most. And already we have the here, the poorest, the most vulnerable. Here we don't have to repeat the poorest and the most. The is understood. The poorest and most vulnerable citizens during the crisis. This is very difficult. What is this about? Adjective, superlative form. I have used a comparative form, but it should be in the superlative form. Most vulnerable. Vulnerable, more vulnerable, most vulnerable. Any adjective or adverb, if it has more than 2 syllables, the lengthy adjectives and adverbs, they take more and most. More beautiful, most beautiful. Intelligent, more intelligent, most intelligent. But short ones take ER and EST. That you have to recollect. Fast, faster, fastest. Hot, hotter, hottest. But here, vulnerable. Vulnerable. 4 syllables are there. So we have to use. So be happy, those who have got it right. Others, nothing to worry. It's a tough question. Have a look at sentence number 2. That is also rather difficult. Yes, sing, that is right. Most is correct. Please go to the next one. Announcing the details, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the food grain rations for 80 crore poor people would be doubled for the next 3 months and supplementing by 1 kg of local pulses. Would be doubled. Answer my question. This expression, is it in active voice or passive voice? Just answer my question. Would be doubled, will be doubled, would be doubled. Is it in active voice or passive voice? Just answer that question. Active or passive? Hope you guys, I have asked a question. Passive voice. Now here, would be doubled, it is in passive voice. For the next 3 months, and would be, same one, same expression, would be. No need to repeat. We can use the same helping verb, then we don't have to repeat in the second clause. That's what I said sometime back. So it is passive voice, would be doubled. I told yesterday also, I've said many a time, whenever you come across a sentence that is in passive voice, related to tenses or related to helping verbs or related to any other aspect of English grammar, do remember the main verb should be in past. Doubled would be supplemented. That is a correct expression. So it is related to passive voice, an important question. Those who have got it right, I appreciate. Would be supplemented. Would be doubled. Double is a verb. Doubled. Would be supplemented. Not an easy one. This also, all the sentences are lengthy sentences today. You have to read very fast and read meticulously. Only then you can spot the error. This is also a tough one. Carrying luggage on their backs and wearing black masks, 7 men, visible fatigued. Fatigue means to get exhausted, to lose energy, to run out of energy, fatigue. How do you pronounce that word? Fatigue. Fatigued are signaled to stop by a policeman who hurriedly jumps out of his vehicle at Rajiv Chowk on the Delhi-Gurugram highway. At the Delhi, nothing wrong with that expression. On the Delhi-Gurugram highway, nothing wrong with that. Not an easy one. Today, in my opinion, if you get all the 5 correct, it is outstanding, highly appreciable and admirable. 4 also I appreciate. Oh, wonderful. Who is this? Pradeep has got it right. Lavanya has got it right. Manasa has got it right. Visibly. It is not visible. Fatigued, here we have to use an adverb. It is not I, it should be Y. Visibly fatigued. Not visible, fatigued. What is this question about? Adverb. Visible, visibly. So here we have to use the adverb form. Visibly fatigued. That's wonderful. Ganesh has got it right. And Lakshmi has got it right. Kumar Pandey has got it right. Suma Yadav has got it right. And Suma, one more Suma. Very good. And Shalini has got it right. Shiva Shankar also. Please go to the next one. Sentence number 4. Again, it looks like a short paragraph. Fatigued. That's right. Got fatigued. How? Visibly fatigued. The design for the new parliament building that the centre is hoping to complete by August 2022 could be delayed. Possibility, chances are less, could be delayed by few weeks as the country remains in lockdown according to sources. Oh, wonderful. Manasa has got it right within no time. I appreciate that. Let others also respond. Helping, nothing wrong with that. Only one student. Monica also says a few. For few is not correct. It should be for a few weeks. Few weeks means nothing. It has a negative connotation. Here we have to use the indefinite article. A few weeks means at least for some weeks. A few weeks. Not at all easy. Under pressure. Under pressure, these are really difficult, challenging. Now the last one, this also looks like a short paragraph. Read quickly and meticulously. Try to spot the error. The welfare package announced by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman for the poor and deprived sections to deal with the COVID-19 related impacted has been welcomed by the industry and analysts. Not some weeks, by a few weeks. All that you have to do, add the indefinite article a few weeks. Have a look at sentence number 5. Yes, impacted is not correct. It should be only impact. To deal with what? Ask the question, deal with what? The COVID-19 related impact. Impacted, not correct. It should be impact. Here, impact is a noun. Related impact has been welcomed. The package has been welcomed. Nothing wrong with that. So, the $1 million question, has anyone got all the 5 correct? That will be astonishing. Now the next exercise related to closed test. Context is terror attack in Afghanistan. The terrorists attacked a Gurudwara in Afghanistan and about 20 plus 6 got killed. Very unfortunate. 3, 4, 3, no problem. 4 is highly appreciable. But 5, outstanding. Haven't seen one student also. 5, all the 5 correct. D. Mahita says 4, that is also highly appreciable. Lakshmi, 4. Fine. Now, move on. The next exercise related to closed test. Some words are very important. And the context is, always look at the context. Now you can see the heading. Context, terror attack. Everything from today's paper. Do remember, now all the exercises, everything from the same day's paper. Editorial, exercises from the front page, from other pages, from the editorial. So, 1-4, persecuted. The attack on a Gurudwara in Kabul on Wednesday that killed at least 25 people, mostly members of Afghanistan's persecuted. That is absolutely right. Persecute means get subjected to continuous harassment or trouble. Someone is harassed or troubled continuously, subjected to harassment, continuous harassment. Then we use the word persecute. It usually goes with minorities. Indian minorities in other countries, like Sikhs, if you take a few Hindus also, they are persecuted. That's an important word. And it has been in the limelight. Do remember, words which are in the limelight, quite often they ask in the exam. Second one, some size says fifth option. What is the fifth option? Barefaced. Is a barefaced attempt. That is right. Second blank, it is bare. Already have got the meaning of bare. Grammar, quite often I use bare infinitive. Means what? The basic form or infinitive without two. We call it, grammatically speaking, bare infinitive. But bare means without. Barefoot, bare body, bare faced. The face not covered. Usually the terrorists, they cover the face. But here, they do not cover. Then what is the expression for that? Bare-faced. Is a bare-faced attempt by the Islamic State IS to what? 3, 2 is correct. Revive its fortunes. Revive means bring back the old glory. And here, fortunes, the good aspect related to something. Revive your fortunes. Revive the standards. Bring back the old or original standards. Fourth one, third option, that is absolutely right. That's an important word. Please remember, hamstring is the actual word. It's a verb. Hamstring could be a verb. It could be a noun. Hamstring, the muscles behind the calf. If you go to your leg, calf, below the knee, behind you have muscles. Those muscles are known as hamstrings. But as a verb, hamstring means to reduce or to cripple the effectiveness of something. Cripple, affect badly the effectiveness of something. In this context, process is hamstrung, divided, and the peace process is hamstrung. It is in the past participle. Sentence is in passive voice. Hamstrung, crippled, affected badly. That is the right answer. What is the last one? What are you left with? Suffered setbacks in the wake of sustained military operations. You have got this word many a time. Sustained, continuous, to hold something continuously, continued. So what is the answer here? Sustained military operations, continued military operations. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? That is appreciable. Next exercise related to para jumble. Have a look and try to answer quickly. Context is a rescue package. The context, rescue package in the US, announced by the US. How to perfect? You have to read a lot, Rajesh Chandrasekhar. Whether it is passage or close or para jumble, my answer will be D. Mahita has got all the 5 correct, and also Ganesh, that's very good. Please remember, any exercise related to comprehension skill, you have to read a lot, get exposed to the language. You have to read the Hindu paper, that's enough. Then you can answer all these effortlessly. Everything will be a cakewalk, and you will take the exam with a broad smile. You will come out and say, damn easy paper. Many of these contexts are repeated. Whatever you come across, you have been listening to me for the last 1 month or perhaps 2 months, do remember I can give in writing. In the actual exam, you come across the same words, the same context, and you'll be very happy when you see these words, these expressions, these contexts. That will help you in the long run. So the answer for your question, how to become good at, not only close test, do remember para jumble, passage, scrambled sentences. The answer, emphatic answer, read a lot, read the Hindu paper. That's it. There ends the matter. Now let us have a look at the para jumble. What is the first sentence? A lot of students have responded. They say 1C. That is absolutely right. US deaths from the COVID-19 pandemic topped 1,000. Perfect. What is the second one? 1C is correct. I'll write C here. The second one is A. Absolutely right. topped 1,000 in another grim milestone for a global outbreak. What is this outbreak? What is it doing? What is the third one? One C2A. Third one is what? D is absolutely right. D. US deaths from the COVID-19 pandemic topped 1,000 in another grim milestone for a global outbreak that is taking lives and wreaking havoc on economies and the established routines of ordinary life. All the three go with one idea. What is the fourth sentence? In a recognition of the scale of the threat, the range of the threat, the magnitude of the threat, the Senate late on Wednesday passed. So what is the fourth one? E is the fourth one. And passed what? An unparalleled $2.2 trillion economic rescue package, steering aid, directing aid to businesses, workers, and healthcare systems. This is the last one. So what is the last one? CADEB. CAD, one idea, EB, one idea. Who has got all correct? Again, that is highly appreciable. What is a word map? Shackle, singular, shackles, plural. The related words or synonyms, fetter. Fetter as a verb has a different connotation, but here it means fetters, means chains, shackles. Manacles, manacle, important word. Tether, important word. Handcuffs. Handcuffs are different. It happens initially, but slowly you will be able to avoid that. Nothing to worry. Be positive. Who is this? Pradeep Kumar Pandey. It will take some time. But do remember, if you have to read a lot, only then you can manage. Handcuffs, plural form. If you see a person, a criminal, with chains around his wrists, then we use the expression, what is the word for that? Handcuffs. But wrists and ankles, then we use the word shackles, fetters, manacles, tethers, and secure is a verb. It could be a noun also. And jive, that's a rare word. That also means the same. But do remember, usage point of view, shackles, fetters, tethers, and handcuffs also we use regularly, a different connotation. And also one more, irons. Irons also, it means the same. You have to remember all these. The last button exercise, phrasal verbs. This is a new pattern. Here you don't see the phrasal verb in the first column, you see the meaning. And in the second column, you see an example with the phrasal verb. You are supposed to do two things. Please listen very carefully. Today, phrasal verbs, new pattern. What is the pattern? Usually you see the phrasal verb this side, but you don't see the phrasal verb, you see the meaning. And in the second column, you see the examples. In these examples, you see the phrasal verbs. Your job is first to identify the phrasal verb, then you have to identify the meaning. So, establish goes with which phrasal verb? Now, it is better if you do the other way. Start with the second column. The inspector could see through. What is the phrasal verb here? See through. See through. Now, what is the meaning of that? You have to write the number. If you start this side, you have to. I don't know how you guys are doing. Perhaps you started this way. Establish, I see a few students have said 1D. I'll go with this regular pattern. D, establish means what? Set up. Set up means establish. 2E, oppose. That is also right. Stand against. Set up, establish, stand against, oppose. I want to stand against the matter. I want to oppose the matter. And what is the third one? Support. Support. She should be. Yes, that's right. She always stood by her parents. She always supported her parents. Stand by someone. Stand with means unite against a war, against a problem, against an outbreak. But stand by, it means what? Stood by, it means support. Good morning, who is this at this stage? Shivaya. What is the next one? Detect true nature of. The inspector could see through. See through means detect the true nature of. What are you left with? They decided to set off by train. Means what? Begin a journey. Set off means begin. By train. So what are the phrasal verbs? See through, which means detect true nature of something. Set off, begin a journey. Stand by, support. Set up, establish. And stand against, which means oppose. How do you find this new pattern? Is it challenging or is it confusing? I would like to have your feedback. It's a new approach, new pattern, new style. Do you find it easy or difficult, challenging, interesting, confusing? Please give your feedback. If you say it is challenging and useful, I'll continue with the same pattern. All correct, that's very good. Gitanjali. Interesting, okay. Oh, Shirama Cutie. That means it is positive. Okay, that's good. Thanks for your response. Please go to idioms, the last exercise for today. It's already 8:56. We are left with 4 minutes. Interesting, useful, amazing. Oh, that's good. Easy to remember because example is there. That's the reason why I have brought the examples. Sometime back, one student wanted me to give the examples. I thought better. Now time has come. Eager beaver, that's an important one. It goes with persons. What is the meaning of eager beaver? Useful. All correct. That is good. Snehita. All correct. Very good. To see. No. Eager beaver, one. First one D. Someone who works hard and enthusiastic. That is the answer. Eager beaver means what? Someone who works hard and enthusiastic. It goes with, all these go with education. Persons. Learn by heart. Learn by heart means what? To see. No, see is not correct. Learn something by heart. A is the answer. Memorize something. Learn by heart means what? Memorize something. Bookworm. He is a bookworm. She is a bookworm. Everyday English you come across these expressions. What is the meaning of that? 3B. That's absolutely right. Someone who reads a lot. Some people, they read a lot. Bookworms. Hit the books. 3B is over, it is correct. Go to the fourth one. 4C. Learn the hardest part. Not correct. 4E is correct. Hit the books means what? To begin to study hard. To begin to study hard. Break the back of something. Learn the hardest part. A few interesting questions. Not now, later you answer these questions. Answer these questions. Are you an eager beaver? Do you learn by heart? Then it's not a good thing. Are you an eager beaver? A good thing. When do you hit the books? If you say, sir, before exams, then I will say not a good thing. To begin to study hard. When do you hit the books? Are you a bookworm? If you say yes, then I will say it's good, highly appreciable. To make it interesting, I have brought these questions. And recall, today, grammar as well as words. Present tense, you have got many a time. important from the exam point of view. I have already given 5 uses. Whenever you come across present perfect, recollect all the 5 uses. Today I will not tell. Tomorrow I will ask you, you have to respond. Challenging exercise, that's true. Present perfect tense. Present tense, important. Present tense has got 7 uses, but usually I say 2 uses are very important. Tomorrow I will ask you about those 2 uses. Brush up the basics and come. Present perfect tense. Quite often editorials, you come across present perfect tense in passive voice. Exam also, they ask questions, present perfect in passive voice. Past tense, interrogative and negative forms, very important. You have to recollect the rules. Future tense, the rule is important. Must, should, could, shall. Recollect the basics, the functions. We'll spend some time tomorrow on these. Stationary, spelling related to words. Stationary, N-A-R-Y, N-E-R-Y. The meanings I will ask you tomorrow. Practice, T-I-S-C, T-I-C-E. I will ask you tomorrow. I'm giving you some time, but words you have to answer today. Culminate. You have learned all these words. What is the meaning of culminate? Thank you, Geetanjali. Thanks for the feedback. Today, don't answer the words or expressions in the first column. We'll spend time tomorrow. But answer these words because you have learnt already. Culminate means what? To end, to reach the peak, apex. Culminated in celebrations. If you remember Janata Curfew, you got the expression culminated in celebrations, ended in celebrations. Stranded. Stranded means what? To get stuck. Many daily labor salvage a